Hooters goes you-know-what up. E-hookers compete to be the biggest e-hooker. Canada leans into their boozy stereotypes. A woman sues because she became famous. And so many more exclusives when you support The Habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Welcome to Scumbags of the Internet. This is the feature where I find some human turd on the sidewalk of cyberspace and present them for your amusement. Sometimes it's just some nobody, sometimes they're a celebrity, and often it's a nobody who wants to be a celebrity. Like today's scumbag, Jonathan Bolerjack, the Stan Lee legacy leech. Before we get to Johnny here, y'all know who Stan Lee is, right? Many younger people might just know him as that old man who was in every Marvel movie. Man, whatever happened to him? Well, he died, like 7 years ago. Oh, that's why he wasn't in the new Deadpool. Well, in the next couple minutes, you'll be surprised that they didn't Weekend at Bernie's him into 10 more movies anyway. But of course, Stan Lee is the somewhat disputed mastermind behind the entire Marvel universe, co-creating Spider-Man, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and the X-Men, and many of their respective enemies back in the 60s. It's felt that he didn't really give proper credit or monetary earnings to the artists who did a lot of the work for him, including Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby, who both died considerably less wealthy than Stan. However, later in life, Stan got a taste of what it was like to be exploited, as numerous people used his failing health and the death of his wife to con him out of his fortune, and force him to go out on the road well into his 90s to do autograph signings. Perhaps you've seen the infamous clip where someone is telling him how to spell his own name while he looks disheveled as hell.
Stanley, S-T-A-N-L-E-E.
Or maybe you've seen pictures from the photo ops, sometimes where he was basically passed out or just looked fucking exhausted, because these took place when he was 94 years old. People will tell you that he loved the fans and all that sugar-coated horse shit, but the reality was that his business partners were allegedly charging conventions $700,000 for management fees and giving Stan $50K of that, while also turning around and charging convention goers $100 plus an autograph, which was unheard of back then. Now, Luke Skywalker charges a minimum of $400 for his signature. I don't think even a Jedi mind trick would get me to fork over $400 for someone's fucking name written on something. 2 separate lawsuits were tied up in courts for years, ending in 2023 on technicalities with a deadlocked jury on one and a judge claiming a statute of limitations had expired on the other. But anyway, this video isn't about those people who forced Stan to do this shit until he died. They are scumbags of the world, and I hope that when they die, a stray dog with a really bad UTI pisses on their graves every day, and it soaks through the ground and their coffins smell like diseased dog piss. No, this is about a guy who wants to expose those guys by making a documentary. Oh wait, Buckley, you're calling a guy a scumbag when he's trying to make a documentary about Stan Lee's elder abuse? Jesus, you really are washed. Well, give me 6 or 7 minutes, and I think maybe you'll be convinced. Meet Jonathan Bolerjack. His IMDb credits tell us that he's worked on, some DVD extras for movies like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Lego Batman, and Atomic Blonde. But Jonathan has bigger dreams. He wants to be the next Michael Moore. Who among us, right? And so, he's set his sights on making a documentary that he's titled Stan Lee, The Final Chapter. A roller coaster of drama and duplicity, Stan Lee, The Final Chapter, is the story of how comic book legend Stan Lee, co-creator of the Avengers, X-Men, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, Hulk, and Black Panther, landed in the middle of a scandal as wild as any superhero saga. He claims that he was Stan's assistant during those final years on the road, where he filmed everything he saw, and that, after years of collecting this footage, he's ready to share this shockingly and truly heartbreaking story with the world. But to do that, he needs your help. And by help, I mean, of course, he needs $300,000. Now at this point, perhaps you have questions, like, if he filmed everything, why didn't he share this evidence for those lawsuits? Or, why has it taken 7 years for him to come forward with it? Good questions. Please enjoy this Marvel No Prize while I avoid answering. And so, here's where my problems with it begin. First off, none of this is new. The AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons, wrote an incredible article about this in about 2019 or 2020. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. Second, other people have been doing videos about this for years. I hate to promote the guy, but The Quartering did a video about this 7 months before Stan Lee's death, titled, "Stan Lee is being abused and needs help." The Associated Press talked to Casey Kasem's daughter about Stan Lee and the signs of elder abuse. The legendary radio host and voice of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo was like, poorly cared for towards the end of his life by a greedy second wife, man. People love to hasten the demise of a dying rich dude. There's a video with nearly 1 million views about Stan Lee's blood being stolen. Yeah, it was used to make DNA ink to stamp comics that were being sold for $500 in Vegas. None of these videos required a $300,000 Kickstarter to make. But listen, he has the real footage, right? And he just wants to help pay the poor crew who've been working on this for years for free. 7 years and it's not done. You ain't making fucking GTA 6. It's a 90-minute video about an old man getting fucked over. Fuck you doing here? The guy from that chapter pumps out a 45-minute mini-doc every fucking week. But this gets worse. First off, we got the backer rewards. We have what he's calling a captured hero photo comic with rare candid moments shot by Jonathan. Get that goose meme out. When did you take these photos? When did you take these photos, John? These are $50 each, and in the true predatory nature of comics, there are 11 different variant covers, all the same content inside, but a different cover. Conveniently, you can also buy the entire collection for just $450. What a steal! But if you want the foil variant, which will be CGC authenticated, that's $500. Fuck me. He's also offering like a dozen different screenings all across the US, as well as in Tokyo. He basically wants you to help him fund a fucking vacation. It gets better, or worse, though, you tell me, because also for $500, you could take a tour of Los Angeles with Jonathan to see all the places where Stan Lee got fucked over. Visit the places where bribes were offered, schemes were plotted, and millions went missing. See the place where Stan Lee's blood was stolen. Breathe the same air as Stan did, as he was told his own name over and over while signing comics. Touch the table that Stan was figuratively bent over and dry docked by those he trusted in his declining moments. Oh, but don't worry, the tour also comes with a lunch. You can eat a shit sandwich while he shows you the never-before-seen footage of Stan being propped up on a stool while the slack-jawed masses emptied their wallets to stand beside him for 10 seconds. What morbid cocksucker would want to partake in this? Well, some faith in humanity. As I write this, no one has signed up for this one yet. But let's keep digging. In the description of the Kickstarter, it says, he uncovered a thriving market where Stan's signatures and memorabilia were converted into huge piles of cash. They sure were, by Jonathan himself. There's a really great Reddit post I'll also link in the description that details this. But Jonathan either had comics signed by Stan or was gifted numerous autographed comics by Stan, which he in turn sold for as much as $15,000. Like this Hulk 181, the first appearance of Wolverine, a character Stan had no hand in creating, but whatever, it's signed. Sold that in 2021. At least he waited until the body was cold. He would also get Stan to sign photographs, drawings, and other items that he would then take to conventions to sell. These took place in 2015 to 2017 when Stan was still alive. And he sold 5 of those previously unseen images to be used as NFTs in something called the Stan Lee Legacy Collection. You sure uncovered that thriving market, John. Turns out, it was in the trunk of your fucking car and on your goddamn hard drive. According to a person on Reddit who says they were transcribing an interview John did with comicbook.com, he refused to release the footage if the Kickstarter doesn't get funded. He knows the statute of limitations for any lawsuits regarding elder abuse have passed, so the footage is worthless as evidence anyway. None of this is about justice for Stan. At best, he's a coward who recorded footage of an old man suffering in his final days and said nothing until there was a chance to make a buck. And at worst, he's a grifter using the death of his ex-meal ticket. Literally, Stan took him out for dinner at Club 33 Disney, which costs tens of thousands of dollars just to have a membership to be allowed to walk through the fucking door. Anyway, using Stan's death to make $300,000 and launch a career as a proper documentary filmmaker so he doesn't have to keep making fucking DVD extras anymore in an age where no one buys DVDs. Excelsior, true believers! So thanks to today's scumbag of the internet, Jonathan Bolerjack, Stan Lee's legacy leech, for showing us that no matter what we do in life, we'll always be better than he is.